ago, we were enrolled in the Future Forms program, a new age classroom model for grade 10 students in the Waterloo Region that combines civics, careers, and English into a creative and technologically influenced curriculum. This class works to bridge the gaps between the skills that students learn in the classroom and the opportunities they have to utilize them in real-world application scenarios. This class also provides many creative alternatives to traditional classroom lessons.
For example, we were given the option of creating a short horror film for an online magazine, so we created one. It was awful. So bad, in fact, that it had to be removed from the internet and locked away in our vaults so that no one could ever see it again. But this sparked something, an interest in filmmaking. Later on, when we were given the civic summative of making a creative difference in our community, we knew exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to tackle the issue of homelessness, but instead of just going and raising money and giving it to a local shelter, we wanted to actually go out on the streets to talk to these people, to give them a package and to share their story. With that, our nonprofit organization H.E.L.P was born.
Things snowballed quickly. In the next 2 years, we continued handing out packages and creating movies related to our cause. We started selling sweaters at our school to help us fund for those package handouts. Over the past 2 years, we've raised $5,000 just from these clothing sales alone. We continued speaking at events such as this one. We ran creativity workshops and visited classrooms around the Waterloo region, hoping to spark something in other youth. Our most recent H.E.L.P project, the H.E.L.P table, is us setting up a table at Speaker's Corner in downtown Kitchener bi-monthly with items such as socks, sandwiches, hygiene products, used clothing items, and more for the homeless to come by and take whatever they need. Through this, we've been able to include our peers in our organization as volunteers, and it's been extremely successful. Being filmmakers, we filmed as much as we can from the beginning, so we'll show you guys a quick video showcasing our story so far.
So what separates us from other youth? Why aren't all kids handing out packages to the homeless or simply doing something about an issue in our community? Well, an interesting fact about us is that we probably wouldn't have been up on this stage speaking about this crazy project if we hadn't been given that initial push by our teacher to do something. To have the opportunity to complete a marked assignment in the class that wasn't a handwritten test or paper, it was a no-brainer for us. We were tired of putting effort into boring projects that we saw had very little relevance to the rest of our lives. To create socially active students, you have to give them an opportunity and a push. Once we got that push to do something, we figured out that this was not just enjoyable to us, but also necessary to our community. We had an epiphany. We have all these resources, all this time, and all these opportunities. So why shouldn't we be doing this?
Throughout the past 2 years, we've learned a number of important life skills from both our own experiences and from the mentors we've gained. We've been exposed to two different types of learning styles: linear learning and experiential learning. Linear learning refers to that is based in a textbook, with note-taking, lessons, and stress on short-term memorization. And then there is experiential learning. This is a style of learning that is focused on skill development, obviously through experience. Being students that have been subject to both learning styles, it is safe to say that the value and enjoyment that comes from real-world experience is much more enjoyable.
Some of the real-world skills that we've learned, unfortunately, don't get taught in the classroom or are not explicitly taught. So some of these skills that we have learned from our experiences are productivity and time budgeting, introspection techniques, networking, and the list goes on and on. Most of these skills are learned from trial and error through experiences. So step 2 for creating socially aware students is to give them the opportunities that will give them the skills necessary for them to be successful in their own initiatives.
Over the past several months, we've begun directing our efforts to try and create these opportunities for students. We are living proof that the FFP model can work, if it's tweaked a little bit. So we ran a contest this past year throughout the Waterloo Region called SparkKW to try and prove that modifying this component of the compulsory curriculum is extremely beneficial. We used FFP as our main marketing stream. The contest asked students throughout the Waterloo Region to submit a video talking about an idea that can change an issue we face right here in our own community. 4 finalists were chosen to compete in a Dragon's Den style event for $2,500, $1,000, $500, and $100 prizes to fund their initiatives. Out of this, 4 brand new youth-run, creative, social projects were born.
If you were to ask all the finalists last year if they saw themselves doing something like this now, their answer would most likely be no. Once they were given that initial push, the ball started rolling. Their initiative began to gain momentum, and they realized the importance of what their project means to the community and ultimately their own future. So the contest worked. We accomplished our goal of creating a new crop of social changemakers, and this is only the beginning.
But it all started from that push that we experienced in the classroom. We hope to give students that same push as we get more immersed in the education system, and you all can too.
All it takes is a tiny trigger to start an avalanche, one of the largest natural phenomenons in the world. And all it takes is a tiny little push to start this youth movement in our community, province, country, and eventually, the world. Thank you.